1 to 3. And I want to first say the shortest sentence in the Bible, Jesus wept. And why am I saying that? Because he wept about Jerusalem. And in Nehemiah 1 to 3, Nehemiah is very, very concerned about what he has heard about Jerusalem. And he's walking around kind of downcast, and the king says, "What's the matter?" Now that's a big alarm for Nehemiah, because if the king sees his cupbearer not in a very good mood, he might decide that he can't trust that cupbearer and he might take him out. So the connection between how Nehemiah speaks to his king and how we engage with the Lord on so many aspects is very similar, because he says, long live the king. And then that's praise. And he's feeling fear, so that's like fear of the Lord. And he's also being very bold, because he tells the king what's going on and what he needs. And the king actually responds in a positive way and gives a positive answer that he can work with. So what we find in Nehemiah 1 through 3 is that he is a kind of Christ, a type of Christ is how it says in Bible studies. He's a type of Christ. And that's not the only connection, because there's also what Nehemiah does, which is to restore Jerusalem. So you have restoration, you have a leader, you have a mover of men, you have a individual who can provide a vision to the people that they can get behind, and that moves their hearts and moves their souls. And you find that it succeeds, and you have the restoration of Jerusalem. So all of this is very much similar and related to the gospel. And I love Nehemiah 1 through 3. And now let's dig in a little bit deeper. Sorry if the voice on the multimedia presentation is maybe a little bit creepy or something, but I hope you enjoy it. We're going to go into some more detail in the next 2 minutes. During the next 2 minutes. Thanks for watching.
Have you ever considered the profound significance of Nehemiah in biblical history and his potential connection to Christ? Nehemiah, a cupbearer turned builder, carried an immense burden for the ruinous state of Jerusalem, not unlike Christ's sorrow over the city's spiritual devastation. The parallels are striking. Nehemiah's heart-rending plea to the Persian king mirrors the believer's passionate prayers to God. Just as Nehemiah's heart ached for Jerusalem, so too did Jesus weep for the city. Nehemiah's journey begins in chapter 1, where he learns about the devastation of Jerusalem, sparking his sorrow and prayer to God. He's deeply moved by the plight of his people and the state of their city. This sorrow drives him to his knees, where he intercedes for his people, confessing their sins and seeking God's mercy. Then in chapter 2, Nehemiah bravely approaches King Artaxerxes, his employer, with a request. He seeks permission to return to Jerusalem and rebuild its walls. The king, moved by Nehemiah's passion and God's providence, grants his request. Upon his arrival in chapter 3, Nehemiah inspects the ruined walls, a tangible representation of his people's shattered lives. He doesn't wallow in despair, though. Instead, he rallies the people, inspiring them to join him in the daunting task of rebuilding. From deep sorrow to decisive action, Nehemiah serves as a beacon of faith and leadership in the face of adversity. Nehemiah's approach to addressing the king offers a striking comparison to how believers address God. Nehemiah's respectful yet bold appeal echoes the balance believers strive for in prayer. Humility and acknowledging God's sovereignty and boldness in presenting our petitions. Just as Nehemiah approached the king with humility and boldness, so too are believers called to approach God. In the brief chapters of Nehemiah 1-3, we see a narrative filled with sorrow, prayer, action, and faith. Nehemiah's story is a testament to the power of faith and prayer, echoing Christ's journey. Nehemiah's journey serves as a reminder of the power of faith, the importance of fervent prayer, and the potential within each of us to rise up in the face of adversity, just as Christ did.